Hello everybody and welcome to part 2 of this year's birthday, well, special I suppose I should call it, because normally for the past couple of years, I'd put up a poll sometime in January saying, what should I do for my birthday, should I make a series of videos on this, that or the other. I've done, my favourite ever metal songs, the songs that got me into metal, my favourite music videos, that sort of thing. I neglected to do so this year because, real world obligations kind of got in the way. I haven't been uploading as much as I should have because, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I look after my disabled mother normally, but she took a fall a little while ago. She's still struggling at the moment, so, I've been spending more time taking care of her and sort of let things slip a little bit in relation to content for the channel, which is unfortunate. But anyway, like I said, normally I'd do a series of videos, normally about 14 videos over my birthday period. Can't do that this year, so what I decided to do instead is look at the Money Game trilogy by Ren. Now yesterday I looked at Money Game Part 1, which is really interesting and impactful song. It had quite a lot of very pointed elements in it, pointing directly at like government corruption and people thinking because they've got money they have power over everybody. And it was quite a strong and quite politically motivated song. Now I myself try to avoid politics where possible because all it does is result in arguments, people throwing shit at each other, and I just can't be dealing with that. I'm not interested in that, and basically, no matter who we end up voting for, we always end up in the shit regardless, because these rich and powerful, politicians, all they care about is making themselves and their friends richer whilst stepping on us, the normal people. And that's basically what he was saying in that song. So today I'm going to be looking at Money Game Part 2. Now, this video isn't a typical Ren video because, as I understand it, this is a lyric video, and that's quite different because in the 3 videos I looked at so far, Hi Ren, The Tale of Screech and Jenny, or The Ballad of Screech and Jenny, I can never remember what the damn thing's called, and Money Game Part 1, the video played an integral part of the narrative. When I first looked at Hi Ren, I was told off for not paying enough attention to the video because I was reading the lyrics off to the side whilst I was watching the video, and I was told off. People said, you should be paying more attention to the video because there's nuances within the video that add to the narrative of the song. So when I looked at the ballad or the Tale of Screech and Jenny, Ballad of Screech and Jenny, whatever it's called, the Screech and Jenny one, I made special attention to pay close attention to the video, and I did with Money Game yesterday. And there is quite important factors, like in the Tale of Screech and Jenny, there was little elements that I possibly would have missed, like for example he mentions 3 colours throughout the song, and there's the blue for Screech, there's the red for Jenny, and of course there's the third character, Violet, and you put red and blue together, you get Violet. And many people even said in the comments after that not many people pick up on that, so quite proud of myself for that. But it's little nuances like that throughout the video that make the difference, that tell the story, like with the Money Game, where it was like the guitarist sitting on his chair with the hood over his face, looking like he was bound to a chair, almost looking like a hostage or a victim of torture. And then there was Ren sort of representing the people with power, sort of lording over him, sort of standing over him, having power over him, so that sort of illustrated what he was talking about in the song. So the video generally tends to play quite an important part, but in this case there isn't a necessary video. It just says it's a lyric video. Who knows, there might be stuff in the video that might help illustrate his point, but I don't know. So yeah, I kind of know what to expect coming from the first one. The first song was very, very bare bones. It was very minimalistic. It was just Ren and a guitar and the guy sitting in the chair playing the guitar. But for for the musical aspect, it was just Ren and a guitar, and that was it. You know, when I looked at High Ren, that was quite minimalistic. You know, it was Ren, a guitar, but it did have some other musical elements in it, like I think there was a piano and possibly drums at some point. You know, so it was very minimalistic, but yesterday's was very bare bones. So whether the same goes for today, I don't know. Money Game Part 2. I've got lyrics here. I've done my best not to look at them, so you know, I've got no preconceived notions of what we're talking about. Like I said, yesterday's video, he was talking about the corruption of politicians and how people with money feel that they have power over you because they have money. So whether the theme is going to continue in that vein or whether he's going to explore a different avenue, I'm not sure. But we'll see. So we'll jump into this and see what we've got. But before we do that, I forgot to do this yesterday. Before we do that, if you could just take a moment to like and subscribe if you haven't already. You know, I've been doing this for almost 7 years. You know, I actually started doing this a few days after my birthday back in 2018, I think it was. You know, so I've been doing this for almost 7 years. And not even 3% of people watching my videos are actually subscribed. So, you know, if you could subscribe, click the like button, you know, it would mean the world to me. It doesn't cost you anything, it takes a fraction of a second, but it does make the biggest difference to me and the channel. But with that out of the way, let's jump into this video and see what we've got. So, Money Game Part 2 by Ren. Let's have a look.
Strange time we're living in, panic and hysteria. Poor man learn, the rich man don't care for your narcissist mindset spread like malaria. Sit back and watch the show. America, Britain split through fickle shit. A government of hypocrites. These counterfeit politicians sit in parliament, not adequate. Come on. Needlessly bleeding, resources all dry. Turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise. Oh, what a shame it would be, I would die if number 10 Downing Street burned in a fire. Only joking, only messing, don't be stressing. I'm a peaceful adolescent, there's no need to be unpleasant. Write my thesis in a rhyme scheme to analyze the brain while my finger's on the trigger of a money game. Oh, rain, 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 a storm it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies, poison in the veins, but we died upon the blame, 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 blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game. This old money game. This old money is a game and the ladder we climb turns a saint into a sinner with his finger in crime. I'll break it down for you motherfuckers line by line. This is business economics in a nursery rhyme. She sells seashells on a seashore, but the value of these shells will fall due to the laws of supply and demand. No one wants to buy shells cause there's loads on the sand. Step 1, must create a sense of scarcity. Shells will sell much better if the people think they're rare, you see. Bear with me, take as many shells as you can find and hide them on an island. Stockpile them high until they're rarer than a diamond. Step 2, gotta make the people think that they want them, really fucking want them. Hit them like Bronson. Influencers, product placement, featured primetime entertainment. If you haven't got a shell, then you're just a fucking waste, man. 3, it's monopoly. Invest inside some property. Start a corporation, make a logo, do it properly. Shells must sell, that will be a new philosophy. Swallow all your morals, they're a poor man's quality. 4, expand, expand, expand. Clear forest, make land, fresh blood on hands. 5, why just shells? Why limit yourself? She sells seashells, sell oil as well. 6, guns, sell stock, sell diamonds, sell rock, sell water to a fish, sell the time to a clock. 7, press on the gas, take your foot off the brakes, then run to be the president of the United States. 8, big smile, make big wave, that's great. Now the truth is overrated, tell lies out the gate. 9, polarize the people, controversy is the game. It don't matter if they hate you, if they all say your name. 10, the world is yours. Step out on the stage to a round of applause. You're a liar, cheat, a devil, a whore, and you sell seashells on the seashore. Rain, 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 a storm it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies, poison in the veins, but we died upon the blame, 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 blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game. This old money game.
Well, there you go. So again, another quite pointed song here. Again, pointing at, you know, the one percenters, the corrupt politicians, and these billionaire people who, again, think that because they've got money, they have power over everybody. And unlike yesterday, this song had a bit more to it. You know, it had a lot more in the way of background music. So, you know, but again, I'm gonna say this again. This guy is a genius when it comes to writing songs. You know, all of the imagery that he used in that song, you know, all the like news clippings and stuff, all the like snippets of game shows and stuff like that, they all had a point. And even the lyrics themselves, you know, again, very pointed, very cleverly put together. You know, he went through like 10 stages of how to make money, essentially. Very well done, very clever. This guy is a genius. He is a certifiable genius with how he creates his music. It is so impressive. So, you know, it does carry on the theme from Money Game Part 1, which you kind of expect. I thought maybe he'd go in a slightly different direction, but not really. He's, again, poking at the governments, you know, around the world, you know, politicians, corrupt billionaires, etc., this sort of thing. So, you know, he goes with... He does. Let's try that again. He starts with, strange times we're living in, panic and hysteria. Poor man, learn the rich man don't care for you. Narcissist mindset, spread like malaria. Sit back and watch the show America. Britain split through fickle shit, a government of hypocrites. These counterfeit politicians sit in parliament, not adequate. So, it's a strange time we're living in, because when was this written? Well, this came out in 2020, so we know what strange time that was. That was when everybody was locked inside their houses. You know, panic and hysteria, because obviously this plague engulfing the world that for some reason some weird fuckers seem to not believe was happening, even though it was, and there was very much evidence that it was. Anyway, you know, panic and hysteria. Poor man learning that the rich man don't care for you. This has been a long time thing, but when it came to that instance, you know, when we were all in lockdown and stuff like that, I mentioned this in the previous video. You know, there was things like Boris Johnson, you know, making up rules, you know, handing out rules for us to abide by, and if we didn't follow these rules, we could get into real trouble. You know, excuse me. We could get arrested, we could get given massive fines, this and the other, if we didn't abide by these rules. Yet he and his bunch of cronies didn't abide by these rules. They flagrantly just disregarded them, you know, throwing parties in, like, Downing Street, you know, with dozens and dozens of people there, whilst we weren't even allowed to go to the hospital to see dying family members. We weren't allowed to have anybody from outside our house anywhere near us, you know, but there's him, like, making up whatever rules that we had to stick to, but he couldn't, you know, and this happened all around the world. It wasn't just Britain, but, you know, that's my prime example, because it's the one that I directly had, you know, and the rich men don't care, you know, all they care about is making themselves richer, making their friends richer, all at the expense of us, the normal people. You know, these rich people, you know, they can dodge taxes, they evade taxes, they can claim expenses for their third or fourth holiday home whilst snorting coke off a hooker's stomach, you know. They can claim expenses for that shit, but it's us that pays for it, you know, because we get taxed, they don't, you know, even though they've got the money to afford paying tax, and we don't, you know. And if we don't pay taxes, we get into a shitload of trouble. You know, you're not paying your taxes. Now I can't afford my holiday home, you fuckers. You know, they don't care about us. All they care about is making themselves richer. They don't care what happens to us. Anyway, so, you know, he's saying that rich men don't care for you. You know, narcissist mindset spread like malaria. Sit back and watch the show America. I'm not sure why you're saying sit back and watch the show America, although there was a weird sound of a gun being cocked in the background there. So, I mean, I'm not even going to get started on America and guns, because that will start a whole other argument that I just cannot be bothered with. But Britain split through fickle shit, a government of hypocrites. As I was saying before, they say that we have to abide by one set of rules, and they make their own rules for themselves. They don't care. And the thing is, they don't even try to hide it. They just flaunt it in front of us. It's sort of like, I made you do this. Now look what I'm doing. Fuck you. They are a bunch of hypocrites. These counterfeit politicians sit in Parliament, not adequate. Again, because they don't care what's best for the country. They only care what's best for them. And the same goes with other governments, other political people, whether it be presidents of countries, prime ministers of countries, whoever. They're always more interested in what benefits them than what benefits the people they're supposed to be serving. Needlessly bleeding, resources all dry, turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise. Oh, what a shame it would be, I would die if number 10 Downing Street burnt in a fire. Only joking, only messing, don't be stressing. Why did I start reading that so fast? Anyway, I'm a peaceful adolescent, there's no need to be unpleasant. Write my thesis in a rhyme scheme to analyse the brain while my finger's on the trigger of a money game. So again, needlessly bleeding, resources all dry. Again, this is... they don't care what harm they're doing to the planet, to the environment, to the people. They don't care what they're doing to hurt the world around them, so long as they're making money. Turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise. Like, they might be destroying lands of indigenous people who have lived there for centuries, but they don't care if they're making these people leave a place that they've inhabited for centuries. As long as they're making money from it, they don't give a fuck. They could be burning down parts of the rainforest. I think I mentioned this in a previous one, like there was those Brazilian farmers who burnt down a big part of the Amazon. They don't care what they're destroying so long as it benefits them. Oh, what a shame it would be if I would die if number 10 Downing Street burned in a fire. I think it was something Boris Johnson said, saying it would be horrible, it would be a tragedy, it would be just awful if I lost my house, if my house burned to the ground, it'd be terrible, if I lost my house, it would be awful. But he's saying, it'd be horrible if I lost my home. I've got 3 others, but it would be terrible if I lost my home. But all of his policies were making it really, really hard for us normal people. Some of us were even losing our homes because we were because they lost jobs throughout the pandemic and stuff like that. It was becoming harder for us to survive. Yet he's saying, what a shame it would be if I lost my home. I'm the politician, I'm the one who cares for this country, blah, 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 blah. It was all about him. Again, just proving the point that he doesn't care about the other people. He doesn't care about the normal people. It was all about him and his friends, And only joking, only messing, don't be stressing. Typical sort of, I was only joking, I didn't mean it. Don't come at me. And then, I'm a peaceful adolescent, there's no need to be unpleasant. This seems to be talking about... there was peaceful protests. There wasn't any violence incited, in the UK, there was peaceful protests just going, look, you're a fucking joke, mate. You're making up rules as you go and you're not following them yourself, and you're penalising us if we don't. There were peaceful protests, but these peaceful protests were met with aggression and violence. Police forces were told, if you see these protesters, you must do this, that and the other. You must use the full extent of your power to remove these people. Even though they were peacefully protesting, everybody has a right to a peaceful protest. But the government didn't like the fact that they were being called out on their bullshit, so they turned around and told the police force, made the police force use the extent of their power to make sure that these protesters didn't get heard, didn't get seen, and got removed. And, the police did not agree with this at all. but they were forced to by government. And, you know, he says, write my thesis in a rhyme scheme to analyse the brain. So he's basically talking about his song. You know, he's writing a thesis about the way politicians and the rich and powerful are corrupt. So he's writing it in a song. He's basically referencing his own song there, while my finger's on the trigger of a money game. And then he goes back and he actually uses the chorus from Money Game Part 1. Oh, rain, 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 a storm it comes our way, and for those who rise through distorted lies, poisoning the veins. But we like to point the blame, blame, blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this old money game. So again, rain, 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 it could be like, referencing an actual storm. It could be a rain as in a reign of terror. A reign of, abuse of power sort of thing. A storm is coming our way. Again, that could be a literal storm or it could be a metaphorical shitstorm. Those who rise through distorted lies, again, corrupt politicians, or I should just say politicians because they're pretty much all corrupt. Poisoning the veins. They're basically poisoning society. They're damaging the country. They're damaging the world. But we like to point the blame, blame, blame. It's easier to blame. So, they turn around and say, oh, it's the fault of these people. Oh, it's the fault of these people. It's not my fault. I'm the one running the country. I can't be the one who's doing it wrong. Point the mirror at ourselves. You don't want to look at yourself in the mirror because really that you're a hypocrite, that you're talking bullshit bollocks. You're lying just to benefit yourself and basically stepping on everybody below you. Money is a game and a ladder that we climb, and the ladder we climb turns a saint to a sinner with his finger in crime. I'll break it down for you motherfuckers line by line. This is business economics in a nursery rhyme. She sells seashells on the seashore, but the value of these shells will fall due to the laws of supply and demand. No one wants to buy shells because there's loads on the sand. Now, I'm going to stop there and just talk about that. Money is a game on a ladder that I like the fact that they actually showed a clip of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire at this point, because money is a game and a ladder that we climb turns a saint to a sinner with his finger in crime. And having the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire clip there, it was quite clever and again quite pointed, because the clip that they showed was the guy who cheated at Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. He had two helpers in the audience. There was his wife and his friend, and he would sit there and he would read through the answers, and one of the people in the audience would cough when he said the right answer, giving him, the cue to say, right, this is my answer, blah, blah. And he basically did that throughout the entire game. He ended up winning 1 million, but he got caught and got into a shitload of trouble for it. So, turns a saint to a sinner with his finger in the crime, climbing the money ladder, again, climbing through society, the higher up the ladder you are, the more important, the more powerful you are, this, that, the other. A saint to a sinner with a finger in a crime. He was a normal everyday guy, but he ended up cheating for money because he was greedy. I'll break it down to you motherfuckers line by line. It's business economics in a nursery rhyme, and he actually uses the nursery rhyme "She sells seashells on the seashore" as an example of how it works. He says, but the value of these shells will fall due to supply and demand because there's so many of them on the sand. They're easy to come by, they're easy to get. You can walk to any beach and you can find a shell. And then he goes into how it works. Step 1, you must create a sense of scarcity. Shells will sell much better if people they are rare, you see. Bear with me. Take as many shells as you can find and hide them on an island. Stockpile them high until they're rarer than a diamond. So he's saying, she sells seashells on the seashore, yes, but, the demand for these shells will fall because they're easy to come across. Why buy them when you can just find them? So he's saying what you do then is you find all these shells, collect them all together and stow them away, put them on an island, as he says, stock them high, stockpile them, take all the ones you can find, make them as rare as possible, so people will go down to the beach and go, oh, I can't find any shells, stockpile them high until they're rarer than a diamond, so, they're almost impossible to come by now. Step 2, got to make the people think that they want them, really fucking want them, hit them like Bronson. Influence product placement, featured prime time entertainment. If you haven't got a shell, you're just a fucking waste, man. So again, it's like, right, now that there are no shells for people to find. Now, because they're so rare, you've got to make people think that they are the must-have commodity. You know, look, buy shells. You know, if you don't have a shell, you're not a good person. It's like these fucking iPhones. You know, they release a brand new iPhone, like, every 2 years or whatever it is. You know, the iPhone 16, 16S, 16XL, 16SX. You know, a million different versions of the iPhone. A new one comes out each year. They take more and more out of it, but they charge more and more for it. And of course they're saying, this is the new iPhone. If you don't have this, you're not cool. So of course there's these people who have bought like the iPhone 16. And then the iPhone 17 comes out and they're like, I must have that. They don't need it because their current thing works perfectly well. But they've been told by the people in power, the people with money, that if you don't have this phone, you're not cool anymore. So, you know, you spent 1,600, 2,000 on a phone 2 years ago. You must now spend 2,500 on the new one. Otherwise, you're not cool. And that's what you're saying there, you know. You got to make them think that they need it, that it's important, that they must have it. You know, hit them like Bronson. Bronson was notoriously violent and aggressive person. You know, influencers, product placement, you know, primetime entertainment, you know, put them everywhere. You know, put them in primetime TV, because then, you know, people will watch and go, wait, that guy's got the thing that everybody's talking about. It really must be the coolest thing. I must have it. You know, it's like product placement in TV shows, or you get like influencers on, well, social media like YouTube and stuff going, buy new stuff, you know, and, you know, you've got to make people want this thing that was very readily available and easy for them to get until you started hoarding it all. 3, it's a monopoly. Invest inside some property, start a corporation, make a logo, do it properly. Shells must sell. That will be your new philosophy. Swallow all your morals. They're a poor man's quality. Apparently, morals are a quality that only the poor have. You know, you're rich now. You don't need to have morals. You've got money. What does it matter? You know. So again, you know, it's a monopoly. Invest into property, you know, start making, you know, this makes the price of shells in this example sort of skyrocket. It makes the need and desire for them go up, because it's like, oh, this person's doing really well off shells, so there must be something to this, you know. Swallow all your morals. They're a poor man's philosophy. You know, it's like, I'm rich. I don't need morals anymore. I have money. 4, expand. Clear forest, make land, fresh blood on your hands. Again, you know, expanding businesses. It's like, right, I used to be selling shells just in this area. Now I can sell shells in that area over there. I can start a new chain. I can expand and open stores all over the world to sell shells. And, you know, that means knocking down forests or, you know, destroying habitats for creatures. Who cares? It makes me money. 5, why just cells? Why limit yourself? She sells seashells, sell oil as well. You know, first you start selling something wholesome, and then you sell out and start dipping your fingers into more lucrative things that sort of not necessarily go against the initial philosophy, but, you know, you start showing your true colours. You know, it's like, oh, we want to sell you shells. Aren't they pretty? Aren't they lovely? Now I'm going to invest in this thing, which is poisoning the planet. And now I've become, you know, part of the problem. 6, guns. Sell stock, sell diamonds, sell rocks, sell water to a fish, sell time to a clock. Now, I like this, because there's a phrase I used that I heard years and years and years ago, because when I worked in, I think it was I was working in a video game shop, and I worked with this woman called Sue. And she was a brilliant salesperson, and my boss said this woman could sell sand to an Arab. And, you know, like he says there, sell water to a fish, sell time to a clock. So basically you're selling something to someone that they don't need, or something that they already have. Again, like the example with the iPhone. You know, they've already got a phone that's perfectly functional. It works perfectly fine. But because the new ones come out, you make them want the new thing more than the one that they've already got, even though they're practically identical in almost every way. You know, you're selling them something they don't need, something that they already have. You know, and, you know, I like that. Sell water to a fish, sell time to a clock. 7, press on the gas, take your foot off the brakes, then run to be the President of the United States. And this is a direct jab at a certain current incumbent, because it's something that always made me laugh. Because when he had his first ill-gotten term in office, you know, there was all these bands and actors that were speaking out against him. And so many people said, what the hell do you know about politics? You're a celebrity. Shut up and stick to what you're good at. Who do you think your current president was before he was president? He was, let's see, oh right, a TV personality, a celebrity, an entrepreneur. What the hell does he know about politics? Clearly nothing. You know, you're talking out of your ass. You know, was it Reagan? He was also an actor. He was a president. Was it Reagan? I can't remember. Anyway, but, you know, your current president was a TV celebrity, a personality. You know, he was a, albeit very dodgy businessman. And you're telling people in the entertainment industry that they don't know anything about politics. They should stick to what they do. So why didn't you say the same to, what's his name? You know. So he's saying, you know, like, put your foot on the gas, foot off the brakes, you know. Now you've made millions through ill-gotten means by whatever it is. Now run for the President of the United States and see how you can ruin that. 8, big smile, mate, big wave, that's great. Now the truth is overrated, tell lies out the gate. This is something that is so prevalent in politics, is just telling lies. You get certain politicians, especially ones that are in power at the moment, who are so convinced of their own lies, you know, they will make up any shit they want to, and they will keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it because they are convinced, they have convinced themselves that it's true. You know, it's like, there was something I read the other day from one of these, you know, one of these MAGA pages popped up on my Facebook, saying that Morgan Freeman says black history isn't his history. His history is American history. There is no way he said that. He has never said that. He would never say that. They've made other claims that certain celebrities are forming a coalition against woke behaviour, this, that and the other. You know, actors that clearly wouldn't ever do this. Actors that very much have not, you know, they're just making up lies, convincing themselves it's the truth just so they can say, look, this person's behind us, when they're really not. You know, they're just making up lies to convince their brain-dead little peons that what they're saying is the truth. You know, they're just making up whatever they want. And, you know, that's what you're saying there. The truth is overrated, tell lies out the gate. And again, it's like politicians in the UK saying, you know, if I get elected, we'll give, for example, 3.4 million or whatever it was to the NHS. Did that ever happen? Did it fuck? You know, we'll make sure we do this for the people. Did it happen? Did it fuck? You know, they make all these promises to get into power, and once they get into power, they magically forget everything that they said they would do, and they just go off and do their own little things to make themselves richer. 9, polarise the people. Controversy is a game. It don't matter if they hate you, if they all say your name. So polarise the people. So again, you're always going to get people for and against. You're always going to end up creating friction between the two people. You know, there's going to be the people that are like, no, this is the best thing to ever happen. There's going to be the people that say, this is the stupidest and worst thing that's ever happened. And you're purposefully creating this division. You're purposefully setting people against each other as a distraction so they don't pay attention to what you're doing. You know, you can do whatever the fuck you want because they're more interested in what each other are doing than what you're doing. You know, If it don't matter if they hate you, if they all say your name. So even if people do hate you, they're still talking about you, and that to you is free press. You know, you're in their heads. You know, it doesn't matter if what they're saying is good or bad. People are still talking about you, and that's always good. 10, the world is yours. Step out on a stage to a round of applause. You're a liar, a cheat, a devil, or whore, and you sell seashells on the seashore. So, you know, step 10, you know, you've managed to do it. You've managed to fool the entire world. You've tricked everybody. You know, you've lied to everybody. You've basically fucked everybody up the arse with a razor-lace dildo. You know, congratulations. Are you proud of what you've done? You probably are, because you don't give a fuck about anybody else except yourself. You know, you are a liar. You are a cheat. You're a devil. You know, you're a whore. You know, you basically sold yourself. You sold yourself out. And what do? You sell seashells on the seashore, but you're an arsehole for it. And then it goes back into that chorus. Rain, 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 a storm it comes our way. For those who rise through distorted lies, poisoning the veins. But we like to point the blame, blame, blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this old money game. This old money game. So there you go. So again, it's another very pointed shot towards like these people in power, these political assholes who think that just because they've got money, they've got power, that they can decide, you know, how everybody should live, you know, rather than actually trying to help the country. They're helping themselves. Fuck the country. You know, there's that line from V for Vendetta. It's like, people should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of the people. You know, because what the governments do is supposed to help the people. And the more you fuck the people over, the more they're likely to turn against you. You know, back in years gone past, there would have been revolutions and God knows what by now, given how much we've been screwed. You know, it's like, you can only push the people so far. You got to tread carefully, man, because eventually someone's going to turn around and you're going to regret it, basically. So, you know, it's another very, very pointed message at the greed of, you know, the rich and the powerful, who again feel they can lord it over you, think that they're better than you. So, you know, again, I love the way he put this together. You know, it's just brilliantly done, you know, especially that step 1, step 2 bit. I like how he put that together. And it was so accurate, the way he said it as well. You know, the way he talked about, you know, taking a common commodity that everybody had access to and then making it harder to find. And then telling everybody that they need it, even if they didn't want it before. Now that it's rare, they must have it. You know, it's very clever the way he put it together. Again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. This guy is a genius when it comes to writing. And, you know, even though it wasn't his typical video, there was still nuance within the lyric video itself, adding to what he was saying. So, again, very cleverly done. He is an incredibly clever artist. Very impressive. But I don't know what else I can say on that, so I'll leave that as it is. Tomorrow, obviously, I will be doing the third part of Money Game, so I hope you will join me for that, and that'll be all I'll be doing for my birthday. Normally it's a marathon, but we'll say birthday special for this year. So, you know, there'll be part 3 coming tomorrow, and I've been told that part 3 is the one that I really need to pay attention to. That's the most important one, apparently. So I've been told. So, looking forward to that. I think it's the longest of the 3 as well. I think it's about 9 minutes long. So yeah, that'll be coming tomorrow. So I hope you'll join me for that one. But yeah, I'll leave this one as it is. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already. It would really, really help me out. You know, I've been doing this for almost 7 years now. You know, I think I started recording, I think I recorded my first video for this channel about 2-3 days after my birthday in 2018, I think it was. So, you know, I've been doing this for almost 7 years now. I think it was 2018, might be 2019, can't remember. Anyway, it was a few days after my birthday. But, you know, I've been doing this for almost 7 years, but not even 3% of people watching my videos are actually subscribed, which is a little bit disheartening, and I like to think I do something different to most other reaction channels. Most people look at a song and go, yeah, I liked it, no, I didn't, and that's about all you get. I like to talk about the themes and the meanings within the songs, because it's something I think gets overlooked quite frequently, especially in heavy metal, where people have got this misconception that heavy metal is all about violence, anger, aggression, murder, that sort of thing, and that's simply not true. And I want to try and dispel that. I want to start a conversation about what people think songs mean, because I think it was David Grohl that said, you can sing a song to an arena of 80,000 people, and those 80,000 people will sing it back to you for 80,000 different reasons, because each individual person interprets the song a slightly different way, or it means something different to each person. And that's why I want to have this conversation. What does the song mean to you? What do you think it means? Have I got it wrong? What does this song say to you? That's why I want to have this conversation. I want to dismiss this myth that things like heavy metal is all about murder, violence and chaos, and that's simply not the fact. And there's songs like this talking about real world issues with corrupt politicians and billionaires who are avoiding taxes, but we're forced to pay for their holiday home, sorts of thing. That's why I like to have that conversation. So, if you could like and subscribe, it'd really, really help me out. It doesn't cost you anything, it takes a fraction of a second, but it does make the biggest difference to me and the channel. But anyway, with that being said, that's about all I've got for you for this video. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
These counterfeit politicians sit in parliament, not adequate. Come on. Needlessly bleeding, resources all dry. Turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise. Oh, what a shame it would be, I would die if number 10 Downing Street burned in a fire. Only joking, only messing, don't be stressing. I'm a peaceful adolescent, there's no need to be unpleasant. Right, my